What's up everyone, Blade here, and welcome back to another video of Persona 5 The Phantom X. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and talking about Starlight Mona, as well as his Persona Mercurius. Now, inside of this one, this is going to be kind of interesting, because usually I don't look at most other characters' kits, at least until the day of TW, but we're going to be at least preparing for it a little bit, because I am a little interested on this character. So if you guys are interested, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. He is going to be coming out in most likely the next 4 days or so for TWKR. So you can decide if you want him or not. But let's get straight into it. Now, we already have him up on the Lefel.net website, and after I took a good glance at this character, he is pretty interesting. He's able to, of course, take advantage over downs in general by doing them himself in his car form. He's also able to reduce the defense of enemies 100% on his own terms, and he can change debuffs into permanent debuffs. So he has a lot in his kit. It's honestly pretty interesting, and he's kind of flexible. You can either use him with wind characters to get things a little bit quicker, or even you can use him without wind characters, still get him, just it's going to take a little bit later. So if we go ahead and take a look at his pros and cons for the character here, as I said before, he can do permanent debuffs. He can reduce the enemy's defense by 100%. He's able to trigger knockdowns on critical hits, which is actually something I didn't talk about a little bit. This is from his car form being the skill 3. And then he can remove enemy debuffs as well, which is kind of interesting as well. Only con here is if there's no wind allies, of course, his effectiveness drops significantly. Now, what I said earlier as well, he can work in a team without wind characters. It's going to take a lot longer to really get the defense reduction and all. And that's because at A0 or A1, the only way you're going to get the defense reduction is when it starts on turn 4 or turn 2. Which is always going to be a lot later than being with the A0, A1 with wind allies, which will usually start on turn 3, turn 2. So you would probably get that a lot quicker rather than getting it a lot later. Now, there's a couple turns we needed to know. At least right now is going to be wind exhaustion as well as Rhapsody Beat. Rhapsody Beat is something we already know from at least Joker's kit, so don't have to talk about that too much. But wind exhaustion, this is going to lower defense by 10%. And it lasts one whole turn. This can stack up to 10 whole times and is treated as a wind assault effect. So we're going to be able to pretty much stack that throughout the entire battle, you guys, and that's always going to give you the extra edge on getting that 100% decrease down on defense. Now, if we check how he's built here, he's more built as a DPS type character, which is quite interesting because you would think he'd morally be with ailment accuracy and things of that nature, but you just build everything on attack, and that is how he's going to do pretty much any of his debuffs and everything, is it all is going to scale off of his attack. Now, if we go ahead and take a good look at some of his moves here, we already can see the rotation for at least A0 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, just spamming here. If you have, of course, a 1, you're able to do 1 and 2 and then just spam 3, which is what makes it so it doesn't take as much time. But the first skill here permanently increases our attack for all of our allies here whenever we deal wind damage. Now, this is going to be based on Mona's attack percentage, and he does bonus attack as well. And this permanently doubles the number of wind warn stacks he inflicts, which is what we were talking about earlier. That stack is going to be permanently increased, and you cannot decrease this whatsoever. So this is more of his attacking move, but at the same time is morally meant to buff our allies. As long as we have, of course, wind allies in the party, they are permanently going to get that attack percent up, which is always going to be great. Then we have the skill 2, which is going to have an AoE move as well. Seeing that his whole kit is technically all AoE anyways, but he deals wind damage to all foes here. This activates based on activates bonus effects themselves and permanently increases the target's damage taken. So this is where the debuffs start to come in here, where we're getting the damage taken effects by 13.7%. And then alongside of this, it can go up to a certain percent of Mona's damage taken amount from his attack, and it inflicts a permanent windsworn stack as well. So this once again is giving another windsworn stack on the enemy, making sure they're going to take even more damage and making sure their defense is decreasing even more so. And as long as Morgana is present, after a foe appears, it will immediately activate the bonus effects. So even if, let's say, a different foe is getting into the battle, they are immediately going to get that active bonus effect on them, which is going to be very bad for them because that means they're going to take way more damage. Then we have the star of the show being the skill 3. This is going to be how you knock down your enemies. This is going to be how you actually deal a lot more damage. And it is a physical type move that Pretty much, you're always going to deal attack damage and wind damage with this move. It will inflict 2 targets with Wind Sworn. He's going to go into this Meowtor's charge state, and this pretty much lets him go into the card little form itself. And then the skill can then be boosted by Rhapsodic Beat. As long as we are boosting it twice, we get a physical damage multiplier increased and a wind damage multiplier increase. This also dispels all buffs on the enemy, which is pretty darn cool because we don't really see buff dispellers inside this game. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty right on this, where we don't see a lot of buff dispellers as characters inside this game. So it does show where the future is probably going to be going, where this character could very well be very useful. The second boost itself not only is going to increase the physical damage multiplier again by 97%, but also the wind multiplier, and it will actually dispel 2 buffs on the targets. Afterwards, you're able to use a move called Crash here, which can deal wind damage equal to 40 all the way up to 121%. This is also going to be based on the number of boosts that you've given it. And whenever you do this, if you land a critical attack, which you should be, you will increase the down points damage down to 6, or at least to 6, which increases targets down damage as well. So it's immediately going to be allowing you to knock down the enemy, pretty much increase their down damage taken, meaning it's setting up for our character Joker. As many of us do know with Joker here, he loves doing AoAs here. And so if you're able to down the enemy beforehand, this allows Joker to deal even more damage and contribute more to the team. Whenever you're taking wind damage, it will double this down damage taken as well. And then this will inflict another 2 Wind Sworn stacks on the enemy, meaning you can deal even more damage. If you went ahead and boost it with Rhapsodic Beats times 2, it's going to increase the physical damage multiplier, down damage multiplier again, while dispelling buffs. So it's pretty much just going to be, obviously, a bunch of just damage you're going to get out of this, as long as Morgana is dispelling buffs and getting those stacks on up. Now, Wind Sworn, of course, has a fixed chance to double your attack critical rate, which is always good. This is where the crit rate with Mona comes in handy, because no matter what, the entire battle, you're going to be increasing your crit rate, meaning you will be hitting crits, you will be getting those knockdowns, and you're going to deal a ton of damage itself. We do have the other passive being Rushing Haze. This one allows all allies to deal more damage itself, with defense decreasing to 1. It also increases damage by 24%. And if there is increased, or if there's wind characters around, it increases their wind damage and their allies' pierce rate as well, which is going to be very, very cool. So, I mean, like, that's always awesome. It's always a cool thing to actually add into this. And this is going to be pretty much our allies getting these effects that they can deal to the foes. So this also goes with the defense down percentage that will be happening to the enemies themselves as well, that all our allies are able to proc on them, which is pretty darn cool. Now, I haven't taken a good look at the awarenesses themselves here. The character, for what I know, is pretty much complete at a 0. But if you were interested in getting to anything, the A2 and A1, as always, are the cool ones here. We have Grand Entrance that at the start of Morgana's first turn automatically activates Roving Rave, and this permanently increases our crit damage by 30%. We already saw with Joker, he does like a crazy one that's like at 50% or something. So getting another critical damage buff right here is amazing to have. And in the A2, I'll turn it up. Morgana is now allowed to use his persona skills to knock down foes, and this increases all your allies' attack by 50%, and another critical damage buff by 20%. So if you get the A2, that is a full-on 50% increase right there, which is insane. Because if we go ahead and check at Joker here and see exactly what he's able to do, his A1 already is giving you 20% crit rate and all allies 50% crit damage. So the fact that you're actually adding another 50% on top of that, if you get the A2, is kind of shocking. Now, for the weapon, I do look at this and I do say it's probably going to be worth getting, mainly because of the crit damage that's going to be in play. Me personally, though, I'm only caring about the wind warned effects themselves, so I might have to stick with the 4-star weapon. We'll probably see how pulls do go, where if I go for the R0 as well, because I do want to save for the anniversary unit or the cross unit that's going to be coming out for P5 Fest. So very interested in this one here. It does give attack percent as well as critical damage. So we'll see if I really skip it or not, but we'll see. As for the team here, the only team that seems to be getting played right now is going to be Frostscale Mont, Starlight Joker, and Starlight Mona with Fuka and Yukari. With the addition of Yukari, the reason why she's actually available here is also because Yukari herself has recently gotten a level 100. With her level 100, she has become a little bit more of a threat here, proving herself to be very useful for Fuka and them to swap in as well. So we do have a new addition that's going to be coming out here that's going to be very, very worth using when it does come down to the team. But it's kind of saddening to see that I haven't seen any other Mona teams just yet here. I probably am going to ask around because I do want to try and showcase him a little bit more, unlike the Joker, because I didn't really get to showcase him. I got really busy on some stuff here. So I do want to showcase Mona a little bit more here. But what do you guys think? Are you going to be pulling for Mona? Are you not going to be pulling for him? Does he sound cool? Does he not? Let me know down below in the comment section. But till then, everybody, thank you for watching and peace on out.